These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Bruce via Wiser Now. Can tell you the rates are continuing to go up. The dong is terrific, and the dinar is very good, extremely good. Way more than we thought we were looking for. Both rates are excellent right now. This is coming up on the bank screens. Claire article quote, next week the Iraqi central bank launches a package of measures that will reduce the price of the dollar, unquote. Another quote, decisions will be issued next week, which may contribute significantly to reducing the exchange rate of the dollar, unquote. All right, Frank26 says, what is Article 304? To protect the dinar. Since when do you protect toilet paper? Since when do you protect used toilet paper that's already been flushed down the toilet? Never. You're going to release 304 right now. What for? Have you done it the years before? No. Have you done it decades before? No. Sadani is arresting people left and right, backwards, forwards, up and down because he's not messing around anymore with those that are delaying the monetary reform. Militiaman says we support the dinar. That's the focus and demands to diminish with the dollar. We can see they're moving to that end. We all know the central bank law says it's illegal to the dollar. The IMF Article 8 compliance requires the dollar to disappear when it comes to goods and services within the country. Bottom line is there's not going to be a need for that parallel market anymore. All right, Bruce says we had Vietnam come to the party. They got Basel III compliant, so Vietnam is good to go. Pimpy says once Iraq and Iran made that agreement between the two countries, I told you, the United States is going to screw with Iraq. They're going to screw with their exchange rate. I knew this was going to happen. All of a sudden, magically, 14 other banks are hit with sanctions. Why are they hit with sanctions? Those 14 banks are under suspicion of laundering money. There's no proof. It just said the United States suspects the banks of money laundering. That's all it took for the U.S. to screw with Iraq, a suspicion. All right, Sandy Ingram says since the integration of gathering knowledge from across the internet, we're learning more about what is said behind closed doors. We now know the big dogs do expect an increase in the Iraqi currency. Caprioni says Guru Pimpy thinks the reason why they haven't raised the dinar is because U.S. has put sanctions on Iraq. Individual bank sanctions are compliance issues and have nothing to do with dinar value. The dinar will remain weak until Iraq diversifies their economy. All right, Mark Z PDK question, is this our weekend? Mark Z's answer is we don't know for sure, but there is a lot of pieces we put to place that could go for this weekend. A heck of a lot of them, but we won't know until we cross the finish line. Most of my sources still believe we are very close. Mr. C, Guru Mike Cottrell thinks any day now to just a few weeks, and I agree. My connections in wealth management have been preparing for this for some time. My guess is we are closer than we think. All right, Claire article, quote, Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani issued a ban on the interference of all agencies in the work of exchange companies, unquote. Another quote, to implement resolution number 56 of 2004. That includes granting exclusive powers and powers to the central bank to monitor and inspect its financial institutions, and according to the Prime Minister's directive to prevent interference in the work of the central bank with other government agencies, unquote. Frank26, lastly, article, quote, the judiciary, the arrest of suspects who carried out suspicious banking activities in the seizure of $15 million, unquote. Frank says this week all these articles are about what? All the bad guys being busted, all the banks that are being punished, all the merchants that are being closed down. The CBI floor is almost spotless for the monetary reform.